For the first time in 3 years, back at Adventureland. This could be a short day. Rain's rolling in an hour, and I think it's supposed to rain all day. 2 days ago, there was a 0% chance of rain. That's why I bought the ticket for today. And then an hour after I bought the ticket, they put 60% chance of rain, and now it's 100%. All right, here inside Disney's Magic Kingdom. Sort of. If you come to the middle of the country, just be prepared. It might be saying no rain in the forecast, and then all of a sudden tons of rain just pops up in the last day or even the last few hours. In Oklahoma, we've had days here lately where we enter the day with a 0% chance of rain. 2 hours later, 75-mile-an-hour winds, torrential downpour. Things just pop up out of nowhere. We go through stretches like that, and we had one last month that pretty much destroyed our entire city. There is the new roller coaster for the year. It just opened, I think, a few weeks ago. Even if the day ends up a complete washout after the first hour, if I can get my 2 missing coaster credits and get back on Monster, that'll be a success. An expensive success, but that's okay. Flying Viking, that's what I want. So they sent out the first train with 2 riders on. Here we go. 10-car train could seat 20 per train. Running 1 train. Don't know how much of a line this draws, but I figured knock it out quick. There were a lot of people waiting to get in the park at opening. I like the setup with it built right around the Shoot the Chutes. That was pretty cool. For what it's meant to be, that was a success. It's like a junior coaster, maybe to the level of a family coaster. Definitely not intense, although you do get a little bit of force on a couple moments, but nothing too much. Perfect to take the whole family on. Not one that I would wait in a long line to ride again, but if I find the line short, I may hop on again. But of course, this thing is the highlight. In fact, 1010, I know my priority should be the 40 free spin just to knock out my missing credit, but it's gonna be hard not to hop on this. As much as I love this thing, top 25 coaster for me. And the best part, this lateral hang time here, that is not an inversion, but you get the best hang time moment right there. And I was able to get on it real quick. Walked up, got right on the next train. You do get popped out of your seat right as you go through that dive loop. Not on the rise up, but on the drop, actually. The hang time on the finish loop was pretty good. Not quite as good as I remember. You get whipped through that, Immelman, and there. That is the best moment of hang time. And you get pretty good hang time on this final corkscrew too. So between this and Copperhead Strike for hang time, you know, I don't know, they're pretty close. If you like hang time, either Copperhead Strike at Carowinds or Monster at Adventureland, that's the ride for you here in the US. Now the best single moment of hang time that I've experienced is still Full Throttle's vertical loop, but this has more moments of hang time on it, and so does Copperhead Strike. I really like the presentation of their new coaster, Viking Voyager, I think is what it's called. This is really cool. I like this entry, Dragon Slayer. And I've heard that this has one side that's more crazy than the other. So I want to do both sides before the rain hits. Now that actually is kind of like what King's Dominion was. One side was milder than the other. Now I don't know if that's actually by design or if that just happened to be how it was riding that day. But wilder side to the left. So if I only get a chance to do one, I'm gonna do the wild side. And it looks like it's a walk-on. And this is the best 40 free spin in the country, and it's not even close. Now, I thought King's Dominions was the best, but this one is even way, way, way better. If you want the wildest ride, you want to face that direction on this side. So go to the left and face that way. I did 5 flips in a row on the top level. Now, I've said it before that on the Six Flags version of these, I'm lucky to get 2 flips. I think twice I've gotten 3 flips. More times than not, I get 0 flips on the Six Flags versions. I did the mild side facing that direction, and I got 5 flips in total. I did 3 flips on the top level, and then 2 flips later. On the wild side facing this direction, I got 4 flips, plus 2 other times that I was suspended upside down before turning back the same way I came. So 4 flips on the wild side facing the front of the park, 5 flips facing the water park, 6 flips facing the water park, excuse me, 5 flips on the top level, and that was 5 flips in a row. It was just one after another after another. It was crazy. And then 1 more flip later on in the ride, and another time being suspended upside down. Honestly, I have always been kind of neutral on the 4D free spins. I've never thought that they were that great. I never thought they were bad either. However, on the King's Dominion version and this one here at Adventureland, the smaller version, these ride so much better than the Six Flags bigger versions. I mean, I'm tempted to say this could be a top 100 coaster for me. That might be a little over dramatic, but this far exceeded my expectations. Unlike Zambezi Zinger, which I had low expectations for, and it didn't even meet those. This thing is awesome. This is easily the second best coaster in the park. I could just keep going back and forth between Monster and Dragon Slayer. The entrances to both are just right here. I never would thought that an SNS 4D free spin would qualify as part of a 1-2 punch of a park, but that one is so good that it does. About a 15-minute wait for my second ride on Monster. Then I did Tornado, the out and back wooden coaster, and that was not very good. I've had good rides on it, I've had bad rides. Actually, the airtime was okay on it. I was in the back row, so it gave a little bit of airtime on a few of the drops. Problem was, you ride in that back row, it's pretty rough. That's the price you pay for getting the airtime. The footers still remain from Dragon. That was the RMC pre-lift Bunny Hills leading into the lift hill. I know they left the loops at first, but those are gone now. I've never done this ride. I don't think you get any airtime on this. It's hard to tell. Yeah, maybe a little there. Probably depends on where you are in the raft, how heavy the raft is. And of course, why is that called Tornado when it's an out and back? This is the Twister. So when I was here in 2019, I said Outlaw was easily better than Tornado. I came back a year later, said Tornado was easily better than Outlaw. And now I'm back to Outlaw being way better than Tornado. Although my ride on Tornado in the front row in 2020, that's what made me say it was better. I guess I need to get the front row on it again, but it's hard to get front row on that, because they do assigned seating. And yes, those are buzz bars. Tornado has buzz bars too. Now Outlaw, it is riding great in the rain. I've done it 5 times. There's no line, able to get right on the next one. Even with the park really, really busy. Everyone's in the front of the park. And just got rain on the lens. It is a CCI, but it's kind of a GCI. I do like the layout. It's got some decent airtime pops. I rode twice in the front, twice in the next to last row, and once right in the middle, row 7. No wheel seats, so it might be rougher in wheel seats, but seats I rode, only a little bit of roughness. The kind that adds to the ride. And the footers over here from the old Dragon leading to the station. Right now, I would say with over 6 months into the year, this is my #1 new coaster credit of the year. That is almost certainly going to change tomorrow when I go to Lost Island. But Dragon Slayer is just so good. In fact, Toombeely, that might be #2. I never would have guessed that over 6 months into the year, and I'd have 2 SNS 4D free spins as my top 2 new credits. Now that is, of course, I've only got 6 new credits so far, and 3 of those have come in the last 2 days. But Zambezi Zinger, I thought for sure would be #1 out of those 6, and it's maybe #6. I don't know. The junior coaster over there, I might rank ahead of it. At best, it's #5. Now, Aquaman, yeah, I don't know. Aquaman might rank ahead of the 4D free spins. I don't know, that might actually slide in between. Dragon Slayer at the top, then Aquaman, then Toombeely #3, then Dark Coaster. Because a junior coaster here is one of the best junior coasters I've ridden anywhere. And Zambezi Zinger just fell well short of what it should be. Now with Dragon Slayer, I have noticed a difference with the afternoon rides with basically full trains. I still say you want to face that direction when you load, whichever side you go on. Now, last time I was on the left side facing that way, people were across from me. I did not flip right off the top. It was the middle one there that I started to flip, and then I got 3 in a row before the Raven turn. But every ride has been really great. Every ride I've gotten at least 2 flips on. And the only one that I've gotten 2 on is when I was on the right side, which is supposed to be the mild side, and I was facing the park entrance. So I was on the mild side and facing the mild direction. And I still got 2 flips, which is about the most I could ever hope for on the Six Flags free spins. All right, let's see how they do. 1, 2, well, not quite. 1, 2, 3 on, yeah, they rode just like me. I was counting the wrong one at first. Yeah, the people that are in front right now, that's the one you want on the left side. Just got off of 3 in a row on Flying Viking. This ride definitely gets a thumbs up from me. For what it's meant to be, which is a junior coaster, it might be the best junior coaster there is. If you ride in the back, you do feel some positive forces on some of the turns. It is nice and smooth. It is just excellent for what it's supposed to be. Ridden it 5 times, just got 3 in a row. The guy who was running it was at Worlds of Fun yesterday, marathoning Prowler with me with one of his friends. I didn't do this. It is just too cold. I'd like to try it, but it's like 60 degrees. Maybe I ought to do it at the end of the day. I don't know. Half an hour left, possibly. So I got next to last ride of the night on Monster. I did 6 rides. Drop tower's loud. I did 6 rides in the last about 35 minutes. So the last hour and 10 minutes total, I did 8 rides on Monster and 3 on Flying Viking. Lines never got to be too bad here. Maybe early on while I was doing a bunch of rides on Outlaw, I think there were a lot of people on this side of the park. That's the empty train going out. So finished the day with 18 on Monster, 10 on Dragon Slayer. Never thought I would reach double digits in a day on a 40 free spin, but it is that good. And I also did 7 on Outlaw, did 2 on Tornado. Neither one of those were very good, but really impressed with the new additions here, Flying Viking and Dragon Slayer. There was one ride where I was going backwards on that upper part, about to hit the Raven turn, and it tilted me on my back about 135 degrees, almost flipping. I stalled out while partially upside down, and then I hit the Raven turn. That gave a very violent burst of ejector airtime while laying back. That was the weirdest airtime sensation I've ever experienced. Now, it's one thing to get backwards ejector airtime. It's another thing to get backwards ejector airtime while laying on your back, tilted over. Yeah, that sensation was really weird. I was very violently thrown into the vest restraints, upward into the vest restraints. I didn't know how to describe that at first, but it was just one of the weirdest sensations. And I guess that is ejector airtime, just while laying back. This was the kind of day I had always hoped to get at Adventureland. A day where the crowds were not too bad, the lines were not too long. Still, it seemed to be a big turnout early in the day, but I think the drizzle scared a lot of people away. That's why I really wanted to visit this park with a full day on a non-weekend. So I was able to get the Monster Marathon that I'd always hoped to get. And Dragon Slayer, very impressive. And I was kind of joking saying that it might be a top 100 coaster. After that experience, with how good it rode for me and the variety that it gave me, it could be. Here I was getting 3, 4, 5, 6 flips. My last ride I did 3 in a row on the top part, and then I did 3 in a row on the second part. I think that if those SNS free spins are supposed to flip, they need to flip. If they don't, then it doesn't ride as well. Your head might get thrown into the seat back. It just doesn't feel right. It's uncomfortable. It could be painful, but when it does what it's supposed to do, when it's supposed to do it, according to the weight distribution and everything, that's when they are really good rides.